Welcome to Shadow Empire Academy. Today you will learn how civilization score and quality of life can prevent events like this one. So the proper understanding of quality of life in your zone is crucial to establish a stable growth of your zone, happiness across your population, and never-ending flow of free folks to your zones. Okay, so let's start. To find the information about quality of life in your zone, you need to open the Zone tab and click the top right button representing the civilization score of your zone. In this section, we can see our quality of life score. But we have here two numbers, civilization score and quality of life score. The first one is a global number which is representing our zone across our empire. It's the civilization score. So this number and connected name is telling us how cultured and civilized is population in our zone. And quality of life score tell us how good is the infrastructure in our zone to satisfy basic needs of our population. So in short, how good are living conditions in our zone. So the quality of life in Shadow Empire is divided by four areas, which are satisfying four basic needs of our population. So the basic needs are proper healthcare, proper security on the streets, access to education, and access to entertainment. And please notice that this table has two columns, and on the right we have points, and on the left we have score. So the points are representing how the assets in this zone are contributing to each of those four areas, and scores means how those points are satisfying needs of our population, and the needs is determined by the city level. So the bigger city, the bigger expectations of our population. In case of village, the score will be equal points because the score is computed as points divided by the city level. Sometimes it's not worth to increase the city level because it will decrease the quality of life score. So you can think of quality of life score as how much your infrastructure is satisfying the expectations of your population, and the expectations are increasing with the city level. Each zone has its own quality of life. So if you go over your zones, please notice how the civilization score and quality of life score is changing. It's important to understand that civilization score and quality of life score over time should be equal. It's because civilization score will decrease or increase to finally be equal to our quality of life score. So in this case, our civilization score next round will decrease to finally be equal to 18, and in this case we have 13, and over time this number over a few rounds will be equal to 0, and in case of this zone we have here 31, but in next few rounds it will decrease to 1 if I will not increase the points in this village. So the most important number in this section is quality of life score because as we know this number will over time try to adjust to quality of life score. So how this number is calculated? If you mouse over this number, you can see on the bottom there is information that the high limit for zone quality of life is quality of life score average plus the lowest quality of life score and divided by 2. So this is the formula used by the game to compute this score. So in general, to increase quality of life, you need to increase those four numbers. Also, we can read here that if quality of life is higher than the zone civilization score, it will increase the happiness. If it's lower than zone civilization score, it will decrease the happiness. So it's good to keep quality of life score higher than the civilization score to increase happiness of your population. But in case of workers, they are more sensitive and they are looking regime-wide. So they compare their situation to the average national civilization level. What does it mean? It means that if we get an average of all civilization scores across our zones that has the regular zone type, so we do not include unincorporated in this calculation. So we have the average civilization score. Then this average is used to compute our regime civilization level. In this case, this is a square root of the average civilization levels and diminished by 1. So to receive what is the exact number used by the game for average, we need to reverse this calculation and add 1 to this number, so it will be 7, and then make power of 2, which means 7 multiplied by 7, which is 49. So 49 is the average civilization level in our zones. So then workers in this zone are comparing their civilization score 31 to 49 across our empire, and they see that they have lower civilization score. That's why you can see that worker happiness diminished by 1 point due to low zone quality of life versus national civilization level. So the quality of life mainly affects happiness of our population and contributes to the civilization level of our regime, because over time the civilization score will be equal quality of life. But the happiness is not the only reason why we should care of quality of life score. Those four areas can also prevent some bad events. So if we do not care of health of our people, then we might have some bad disease. Also, low security means that it's not safe in our zone, and there can be some raids, bandits, or thieves. Low education can cause some witch hunters or some barbaric behaviors in our zone. So those three areas are also important to prevent bad events. The last area, so entertainment, is not connected with any events in our zone, but it's contributing to the quality of life. It's good to know that also health points and security points have a special additional meaning. Health points have positive impact on fertility in our zone. So the reproduction of our population will be faster if we have good healthcare in our zone. Also security is reducing the unrest. So each point of security in our zone is reducing unrest for 100 of population up to 40%. So if you have unrest in your zone and there are security points, such unrest will diminish faster than in the zones that you don't have any security points. So for example, in this zone, I have 200 security points, so the unrest will be diminishing faster than in the zone that we have 0 security points. And also here, 200 health points means that we have positive bonus to the natural increase of population in our zone. So you can see that we are receiving 600 inhabitants due to the natural growth, which is positively impacted by healthcare. And if you are speaking about unrest, also the civilization score, so the higher it is, the faster unrest and danger will diminish. But for the fear, it will be the opposite. So higher civilization score will make fear decreasing slower. And let's go back for a moment to the civilization level for our regime. This number limits the maximum level of quality of life assets. So, for example, if here I would like to build in the government tab hospital, barracks, so the quality of life assets, you can check that its level is limited by civilization level. In our case, we can build many levels because we have high civilization level. Also, this number is increasing the interpersonal skills of new leaders that you hire. So, for example, if I would hire now a new leader, so his interpersonal rating will be increased also by the civilization level, so by 6. It means that this person could here have already 6 levels of some skills related to the interpersonal family. It's working same like technical level is increasing the technical skills and administration level is increasing the war-related command skills. Okay, so let's close this window. And here you can see that I have 0 points in all four sections, but here you can see that I have some score. This score is because I have also our governor in this zone. So the governor each round is performing roles to increase some of the quality of life areas. So if we go to our governor and check the skill log, you can see that she was trying to increase healthcare in our zone, entertainment, education, and security. And for security, she was using the investigation role. For education, she was using the science role. For entertainment, oratory. And for healthcare, she was using her medical skills. So you can see that she increased the most health and security. And in our zone, we can see that health and security is above 0. So our governor also can help with those numbers, even if we don't have any points here. But how to have points in those sections? For that, as we said before, we need our infrastructure, so proper assets. If we go to more advanced zone, we can open the Manage Assets tab, and here we can filter to quality of life and research assets. So now you can see all assets that produce some research or quality of life points. As you can see, only my private sector currently is contributing to the entertainment, to the security, to the healthcare, and to the education. So all of those assets are producing quality of life points, and that's why even if I don't have any public quality of life assets, I still have quite high quality of life in my zone. Because in this game I try to help private economy to grow by investing credits to private economy and to support their uh, private projects. You can watch my private economy and public economy videos to learn more. Also, it's good to know that your private economy will try to satisfy food first and then quality of life. And after quality of life, they will build some minings like ice mines or even metal mines. So you can quite early receive some quality of life buildings from private economy. Sometimes when you conquer a new zone or which is very small, or you create a new one, you don't have any quality of life buildings. So if I unselect this filter, you can see that here I have only a few assets, and it will take time to see here new assets because, as we said, they are focusing in first order to secure their food needs because currently private food is 0, so they will be starving soon if they will not secure the food. But you can see that they are very rich because I allowed them to keep the metal mine because I want to make sure they will have money to finance the assets on their own. So this way, they should have quite a lot of credits. You can see that they have 700 or 600 credits of income. And if we go to the treasury and cash flow overview, you can see that from this tiny village, because of sales tax that I established, I also have benefits from their sales. So 200 credits last round because private economy was selling metal to traders, and because of the high tax, I received 227 credits. So this is also a way to speed up private buildings and also quality of life buildings. But in some cases, you need to build public ones. And to build public quality of life buildings, you need to have proper technologies. So if we go to technologies, you can see that here there are barracks, here hospital, here university. I discovered university, but still I need to research it. And there is also Vidcom Broadcasting, which is increasing the entertainment. Please remember that there is also a special group of technologies called applied management, and those are linear technologies which are increasing the output of our quality of life assets. So if I will increase the education methods to 10%, all education output will be increased also by 10%. We will see this when I will load different game save to visualize it better. So I loaded another game where I have more technologies. In this case, I have all quality of life buildings, so including university and Vidcom Broadcasting need to be researched. But here I have already some linear technologies for our quality of life, and let's check them in action. So if we go to our zone where I have more quality of life buildings, you can see that hospital is producing not 100 but 110 quality of life points of type health. So if I double click this building, here in the description we can see that we produced 110 health points, and there is a 10% modifier because of the modifiers and technical formula. And if you hover this, you can see that this formula is using technology number 120. So if we go to our manage technologies, you can see that 120 is this one. So sanitation programs, and it's increasing the health in our zones. And the number of this technology is 120. So if we go to Barracks, you can see that also Barracks have 10% increase. And if we hover, we can see that technology number 119 is used in the formula. So if we go here, we can see that this is technology 19, so security tactics. So it's a good way to increase the output of quality of life buildings. And please notice that university and barracks also have bonus points. So this icon of a tower is symbolizing that we are also producing, in this case, research bonus points, and barrack is producing training bonus points. So our units will increase passive experience faster. And those are regime-wide bonuses, which you can check in the features and bonus overview. So here you can see the research bonus points from all assets across your empire and training bonus points from all barracks across your empire. Now let's talk about housing. So it's a quite new mechanic in Shadow Empire, visible here. Before here was an empty box, but now we have here housing, and it's split into two numbers. The first one is for workers and the second one is for your population, and it's simply telling us how many public houses are built for workers or for population. And we have two new type of assets, so social housing and apartments. The difference is that this is cheaper and this is more expensive, and of course this one produce more uh, worker apartment points, and this is producing social housing points. So this one is also available for the population, but according to the description, workers will be prioritized for their use if not enough worker apartments are available. But in general, those two buildings, if you have here high numbers, will benefit a lot your zone because the happiness will increase because of the social housing. You can see that population has 2 points due to social housing, and workers have 4 points of happiness increase due to 100% of social housing. This percentage depends on the amount of workers and population in your zone and the amount of points that you produce. But the happiness is not everything, because also please notice that in this case we have immigration from Maxia, so from our capital. 800 inhabitants came here from the capital, and because of the housing, the original number was modified by 300%. So normally we would have only 200 people who decided to move from our capital, but thanks to the better housing, people like to live in such conditions, and more people are coming to this small village. Also, free folks are migrating faster, and in case of an decrease of workers, if you have proper housing, the decrease is also reduced a lot. So housing is a good way to keep people, especially workers, in a zone where you would like to keep them. For example, if you have a mining village and you don't want to build too much of the quality of life assets, which would take time and will be expensive, you can build, for example, like here, the social housing and even small town can attract people from the capital or from nearby zones, and you will not be worried of not enough workers for your mines or other assets. There is one warning regarding the civilization score and quality of life. If you will make other zones more attractive for people by increasing the quality of life, you might end up in the situation when people will leave your capital where you have the majority of assets and will migrate to a different zones where is better quality of life, which will make a problem for your public sector because the higher levels of your assets, the more workers you will need to fulfill the empty public jobs. And if workers are migrating to a better place to live, like here, then you may end up here with not enough workers to work in your assets, and then you may have problems. So please don't make a mistake and don't overbuild quality of life in other zones higher than in your capital or in the zone where you have a lot of important assets that need to have public workers. Okay, I think that's all regarding quality of life. Please check other videos in Shadow Empire Academy, and thank you for watching.